Let's get started. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We'll let everyone else who is coming on just kind of trickle in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danny Kagan. I'm one of the co-founders of City Moguls, along with Victoria, who just said hello and is waving. For those of you really quickly who don't know too much about what we do, we are a platform that celebrates, connects, educates great entrepreneurs like yourselves to inspire great leaders. So we're really, really excited to have started this powerhouse webinar series. We're doing 2 a month with incredible powerhouse entrepreneurs like Michelle. So we're thrilled to have all of you guys here. Today's webinar is powered by CIBC. So very thrilled to have their support. Really quickly, going through the format of today, we're going to chat with Michelle. We're going to have kind of an open discussion about e-commerce, about building a brand, about building a personal brand. And then we're going to go into some Q&A. If you have any, I'm sure most of you have been are living on Zoom. If you have any questions directed at Michelle, you can put that in the chat. Victoria's going to monitor that throughout, and we will try and get to those at the end. You can ask your question directly, so you can come off of mute and ask these questions directly to Michelle. Then at the final part of it, which is an optional part, we love it. We found so much success from it. We're doing speed networking in the last 15 minutes. So Michelle's going to talk until 3:30. If you have to jump off at 3:30, no problem. If you want to stick around for 10, 15 minutes, would love to have you for our speed networking and getting into a private room with someone else from today's chat, and you guys get to connect for 3 to 4 minutes. So yeah, that's pretty much that. If you have questions, again, please put them in the chat. If you can keep yourself on mute for this first kind of section, that would be awesome. And I will let Vic introduce Michelle.
Well, we all know her and love her, especially all of her amazing stories on Instagram. She's just a constant dose of inspiration for us, but a little more of the juice. She is currently the co-founder and president of Clearbanc. Clearbanc has invested over $1 billion in over 2,000 e-commerce companies. Just amazing. Michelle started 5 companies before her 33rd birthday and exited 2 before her 30th. She previously co-founded SnapSaves, which was acquired by American tech giant Groupon in 2014, and was also the co-founder of Buytopia.ca, which acquired 10 competitors, including Shop.ca and WagJag. In 2015, Michelle became the youngest judge on CBC's Dragons Den and has been a dragon for the last 5 seasons. Michelle was also honored in our award show, the Mogul Awards in 2018, where she strutted her stuff on the runway for a great Canadian cause. One of our best moments, definitely, in the Mogul Awards history. So please give a big silent clap welcome for Michelle.
Yeah, like snaps, hellos. Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us on this like lovely Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I know. We're finally getting some beautiful weather.
Finally, yeah. It's
not doing that and coming on Zoom instead, which is a overused activity right now.
I know. I just like congratulated everyone before you got on for like, you know, spending the time with us, taking the time to like think about your companies. I kind of want to just jump right in because we have an hour and I feel like you have so much to offer. I'm sure everyone like me has like their notebook and pen like ready to go.
Ready to go.
So yeah, we just wanted to jump right in. I think the where we kind of wanted to start is, you know, kind of just a bit more high level. You have this great motto called launch now, fix later. So I wanted to start by saying, like, why is this so important for entrepreneurs?
Well, I think it's like the #1 mantra is that, and my second motto in life is never be comfortable. I think once you are comfortable, you stop growing, and it is that process of being uncomfortable that makes us really strong as human beings. And that's such a miserable thought, especially when we're thrown into a very uncomfortable situation like COVID that none of us were expecting, that none of us had really the perfect tool set. But it really is what allows us to become, you know, more deeply resilient people. On the startup side, this is incredibly important. I realized very early on in my career, and what business schools were teaching me was this idea to like do a lot of research and write a business plan and spend all of this time planning. And that is a very useful like an exercise if you are in the academic field, if you are a big company that has really something to lose if you want something that's cannibalization to your core product. But for founders, it's not the right motto. What you need to understand is a little bit about your market, a little bit about your competitors, a little bit about how you think you can be unique, and then get out a product and have audiences tell you if they like that product. Because it's very tempting to just think that research will do that. And you get tricked, right? Because what happens is, as a founder, your first customers are your friends and your family. And frankly, those are all lovely people that will never tell you the truth. It will be strangers that is the important people to know if you have a product that is really of high value. And so I'm just a huge believer of getting things out the door quickly. You should always be, frankly, embarrassed with your first product out the door. It shouldn't work. It should have typos. The colors should be ugly. A lot of my first products haven't worked. But what you'll see is when you have an incredible product, people don't care about the typo and they don't care about the color. It's like, think about the last time you were on a website and you really wanted to buy something and like you're typing in your credit card number and like for whatever reason it's erasing your credit card number. You're like trying to buy it and you tried 3 times. Like that's the same experience you want your customer to have with your product. Like, I don't care, I'm just gonna keep typing in my thing because I really want this one thing that I found.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And for those of you who just joined us now, it's really cool to have, like, Michelle's also like in your own home right now. Like,
yeah, I know.
We wouldn't be able to have this. I mean, like COVID has pushed us to do this, lots of good things coming out of this. So how do people kind of embrace the shift right now, especially from an e-commerce lens?
Yeah, I mean, I think there will be some clear, like, first of all, let's talk about how strange it is. This is the first time we have basically bifurcated economies based on activities that people do close together and activities that people do far apart. Like that's never been a natural look at how industries would perform, right? And so, the big losers being travel and live events and all of these things that we did in very close proximity. And then e-commerce has been a clear winner. And what I tell my team all the time is we've gone from e-com 2020 to e-com 2030 in 2 months. We have accelerated 10 years in e-commerce. And I posted a couple of graphs on my Instagram about this. But what's happened is penetration has gone up. And so people before, like my parents, who I've told about Instacart and I've told that they can buy groceries online, they never actually did it until the last 2 months. And so once you teach people to buy online and you see how easy it is and you see the fact that your produce shows up and you don't get all the bruised raspberries, you actually get some pretty good ones, that totally changes the game. And we're seeing that across a lot of categories in e-commerce. So color cosmetics, people said that no one would buy that online. Now they're doing that. I mean, plants, we've back 4 or 5 live plant delivery, like you get real house plants delivered to your house. Big bulky items. I was on a call with the president of Home Depot a few days ago, and it's like the stuff that we never even thought we would ship to your house. We figured out how to do that. And so I think that's exciting. And then when you even take a step further, this will be like any other of these, world events where everyone will remember COVID. And that means the way we will start businesses today will be very different. The shoe store today in Duncan, BC is going to think about having an e-commerce website and not just a little store. That shift would have taken, frankly, 50 years to happen. But now it's knowing that your customers can engage with you online. I think every business, as we rebuild Main Street, will be digital first. And I think that will have, a rapid difference on the economy.
Yeah, it's a really great segue kind of going into also like what people in the e-commerce world need to do now, and also people who are just starting to enter the e-commerce world. Like, what do those people need to know right now? Like, what do people with existing platforms need to do now to up their game? I think people are really starting to think about e-commerce if they haven't already. So what can those people do?
Well, the first thing is that, and I'll just give you some context in the last 10 years, it's never been easier to launch an e-commerce store than it is today. the software that exists. When we started Buytopia in 2010, it took us 3 weeks to get a payment processor that was personally guaranteed. 3 weeks. That's a process that you can do in an hour right now with 20 bucks. It took us, a month and a half to actually launch and design a website. You had to find your own servers because cloud servers were barely available. Like, this is now all a process that you can get started and get going with a credit card and 500 bucks. The second thing that's really powerful today for e-commerce founders is the price of both Facebook and Google ads have just dropped about 30%, because the big buyers and events and entertainment have taken their inventory off the platform, which has caused prices to drop. So it's a great time to be acquiring customers. The second thing is that the shipping providers are all figuring out how to deal with this demand. I mean, Canada Post is saying every day is like Christmas because we're all buying. We have made this huge shift from retail into e-commerce. And there's incredible tools to use. There's, from the fact that you can build an incredible community on social media to, much easier email tools to engage with your same customers. Like, there's so much now you can do to build a brand. And the other critical risk of e-commerce, which is that we weren't going to have supply chains open up back in Asia, has largely been mitigated, and products have been shifted. And across our whole portfolio of like 2,500 companies, we're seeing very little supply chain, which is really a testament. Like, that's incredible that China has been able to recover that quickly. That was really unexpected. In January, we thought we were going to have huge problems. I mean, we don't like to realize it, but like everything we touch in our lives touches China at some point, pretty much. And so this would have been everything from a towel to an iPhone to like a car. It would have completely shut down. We had not seen that. And so I think all of those things, should get people very excited about. Now it's time to like be creative, build an audience, and build cool products because people are looking for them online.
Yeah, so give us those steps. Like, if someone is starting from scratch now, and I know there's a lot of people on here really trying to shift their perspective and get into this this product world, right? So what are your kind of steps in order to take to get to that place where you can say, okay, I'm ready to kind of start my e-commerce platform online?
So I think the first thing is you should test a concept. Testing a concept has also never been easier. And this is a really interesting point. So what used to happen, and look at Dragons Den. I mean, watch the shows from like 7 years ago. They're kind of fun. Everyone comes on Dragons Den and they go, I've invented this great candle. It's actually on my desk right now. Lovely candle. Where is it from? Cardia. So I've invented this great candle. I think people will want it. My scents are better than anyone else. Dragons, can you give me $100,000 so I can buy $100,000 of candle inventory, and then I will sell those candles? And you're like, well, how do you know that people want the candles? And you're like, well, someone said they're interested and I have a little PO or something like that. But it's like, my God, we were going to invest $100,000 in inventory before we even knew this was sold. Today, this is totally different, because today I can say, I have the new greatest candles. I have some special technology. They don't light houses on fire anymore, but they smell amazing. And I'm going to spend, $2,000 with my friends and make a Kickstarter video and put this thing on Indiegogo or Kickstarter and actually see if people want it. And every once in a while, someone will be like, well, Michelle, that was the same as market research. That was the same as asking. But it really wasn't. Because on Indiegogo, you actually have to put in your credit card, knowing this product might never ship to you. And that was so fundamentally different. Is like, you're like, I want this so bad, I'm willing to pay for something that I might not even come. Like, that is true product market fit. And so testing something on one of those platforms, now you have to buy ads on those platforms, or you have to buy traffic to get campaigns to do well. So that's a little bit of a part of it, but you can see if people want the innovation. Now is a great time to be building your community and reaching out to influencers. Even the most powerful celebrities in the world. I saw a picture of Oprah posted that she was doing a puzzle last night on a weekday, and she's like, never in a million years did I think I would be doing a puzzle on a weekday. I'm telling you, every celebrity is like that now. And so they will look at your products. It's easier to get their attention on if you want to use that strategy to grow your brand. So I think those are probably the first steps, is testing to see if you have a product that has, some differentiation in the market that you can get people's attention around, and then testing what it costs to acquire those customers. I think those are probably the best places to always start. And people will bitch a lot about, Google and Facebook. The reality is it used to cost $10,000 a shot when you had to buy a newspaper ad to test a product or a billboard. Today, it's like you can truly test a product for $500 or $100 of Facebook advertising if you want.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on that because that's a great, great point. And I think people are always unsure of what they should be spending on ads. Like, what is the relationship between ads and your e-commerce platform? Like, how much are you supposed to be spending on ads? Is there a secret sauce? Like, what does that kind of look like now, especially?
You need to have positive unit economics. So if you sell a product for $50 that costs you $25, you got to be spending less than the remaining $25 of customer acquisition. Because you spend all 25 bucks, it's like, what was the point in running around in a circle really fast? that's the best way to think about it. You sold a product for $50 and it cost you $50 and product costs $50 in ad spend. That might make sense if you're a subscription business and you can truly say your LTV is higher, your lifetime customer value is higher than that. But generally, you want to be making money on every product you sell after your cost of ads and after your cost of product. And that was our formula with Clearbanc, because we were looking for those businesses. I can tell you there's a lot of them. There's also a lot of businesses that completely overspend what they're making. And those mistakes always catch up with you. Like, it's very, very difficult to sustain any sort of long-term, negative unit economic costs. And so just getting really granular around those. If you have a repeat model, really understanding how long it takes for your customers to churn. But customer acquisition costs rule e-commerce, and they rule all of technology. And so it's the number one thing that I ask in Dragons Den. I still think it's the most important thing that entrepreneurs have a really clear grasp of.
Attracting customers online. Let's chat about that for a second.
Yeah.
You have your hand in so many different businesses through Clearbanc as well, and we'll talk a little bit more about Clearbanc in a second because we're big fans. But and I'm sure a lot of people on the call are as well, and would love to know if you use Clearbanc at all. You can let us know in the chat. But yeah, attracting customers online. What are your best practices? What are your do's and your don'ts?
Best practices online. Okay, like how granular do we want to get?
Let's get real deep, Michelle. Let's get into it.
Sure. So the first thing with your website is that you should show it to someone in grade 2 or grade 3, and they should understand what the website does and what they are buying off the website. The amount of things that I see where it is unclear what the brand is, what the mission is. Are we selling like beautiful photos of people's in dresses, or are we selling the skirts in the dresses, or are we selling the kids' skirts? Like, there is editorial, which is like a very specific type of image. But if you want to make money on your website, people have to know what the product is. And this is as simple as, like, on your Instagram page, you can't have a link tree. Like, your link needs to like go directly to your website. Like, you want to think about the customer is the ultimate distracted. Think about yourself. I mean, we're spending 10 seconds on, this is the craziest thing. What's an Instagram story? 15 seconds now?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Think about the percentage of Instagram stories you make it through. Like, that's crazy. Remember, we used to say like people had a 5-minute attention span or a 2-minute attention span. Now we are at half of a 15-second video. You have 3 seconds. Like, we used to say that colloquially, like, I'll be there in 3 seconds. No, you actually have 3 seconds. And so being really, really clear on what the product is, on beautiful imagery. I've had e-commerce companies that I've invested in that, shot everything on an iPhone. So this doesn't need to be expensive. They shot their very first video on an iPhone. It was 30 seconds long. It went totally viral. It got like 5 million views in the first 2 days. It was not expensive, but it showcased like a really interesting product. And so being really clear on what's on your website, making sure you're collecting email. As soon as people have discovered you for the first time, email can still be a really powerful tool to capture, especially if you're giving people, the sense of being a member or specialized discounts or promotions. And it's a very inexpensive way to re-engage your customer. Making really good use of like bundling and pricing. And so ultimately, like, you should be constantly driving to get your basket size as far as possible, and as high as possible. And so one of the ways of doing that is just getting people to continuously build their basket. And so it's like, you have to buy 3 of this or 5 of this. It is really, really difficult to make Facebook advertising work on sub $50 products. just think about it, right? You're competing with everyone else who's willing to pay, like the mattress companies are selling at $1,000 mattress, so they're probably willing to pay up to $250 a customer. Like that's who you're competing with. So thinking about building that basket is really important with assortment. I read this really wonderful book recently called, I think it's called The Effortless Experience. I can check it right now. I do books on Audible. I really like it. Let me find this.
Yes, we're big fans of Audible.
The Effortless Experience was what I was reading. Really fascinating findings. It basically shows that all these companies that try to do this, like, you know, delight and surprise services where everything was like amazing and you really went out of your way, that actually doesn't generate more loyalty. What the customer wants is like exactly, if you can give them exactly what they thought they were buying, they're super happy. And if they have a problem, they just want that problem solved as quickly as humanly possible. Like one email, don't pass me over to someone else. And so it really got me thinking about, on every step of your website, am I reducing the number of steps? Is this working perfectly on mobile? Like all of those things to make the ease of use way more apparent than even doing things that will cost you a lot more money on kind of the personalization side. So those would be kind of some of my, and then not being reliant on any one platform. Like every business needs a lot of places they're getting their customers. That should be referrals. You should be having a referral program where you can give money to your current customers to refer new customers. That should be using some level of like brand or influencer or something like that, where you can tell your founder story if it's a unique product. It should be some level of paid spend. It should be some level of content. Like all of those things are what's needed. And it feels really overwhelming to do that early on. So typically you just get good at one thing early on, and that can carry you a long way. It's just important that you keep building to that, because you don't want to be, you know, a $5 million business that's exclusively relying on Facebook, because if the algorithm changes, you could be in a really tough place.
I'm going to put everyone on, I'm just going to put, I don't know if everyone's looking at that on speaker view, but I was, and I'm just going to put you on grid view. And I would love to see, I know there's like 3 pages of people, but just like a show of hands of how many people have e-commerce platforms or are thinking of doing an e-commerce platform. Okay. So like quite a few. Cool. Yeah. Just wanted to gauge that because yeah, I also wanted to talk a little bit like from that last point you made, Michelle, like what are best practices then for boosting repeat purchases, right? So you're obviously trying to get your basket sizes up, but what about repeat purchases and customer retention, people coming back to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, it's really figuring out like what is like new and unique every season that you can offer, and how to be relevant to the times today, right? Like every fashion brand, you know, should be selling yoga pants, because I'm not planning to put on another pair of jeans until I come out of confinement. Like there's just like, we need very different things. And so being really creative about how you do new product launches, very creative on if you can have some level of like consumable where people have to use up your product, then you need more of that. And then how do you get on that cadence of like, oh, this lipstick should be done by now, or this product should be done by now. How do I sell you like a refill component to what you're having? Yeah, those would be kind of the big things I would think about. There's a couple interesting questions in the chat. First of all, Tira Showercap's here. She was on Dragons Den. Hi, I remember you, and I use your product actually. So I still have your sample.
Linda had a question first. If you want to address it, Linda, do you want to ask?
Sure. Hi, Michelle. I can't pretend this is like not a huge thing. So thank you for being here. I'm so excited. I've watched your show for, Dragons Den for so long. I created an app, and it connects personal stylists with shoppers to shop together. So when the GTA malls are allowed to reopen, I get to launch my app. So double whammy. I don't know when they're going to open the malls, but my question to you is, how soon is it too soon for me to reach out to media and get them to talk about my app? Because I don't know when, the malls are going to be open. And someone like you were saying, okay, for me to give out free styling sessions. So people like you are not sick of, getting freebies. Is that still like a real great, strategy? If you can help me out with that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I think Joe Mimran gave me this hilarious line years ago, and he goes, "The richer people get, the more things they want for free." You're like, that kind of seems unfair. But yes, look, free stuff will go a long way for a lot of people. Like there's nothing like getting a gift. There's like something about that is like, I don't know, human to us, where it's like, that just feels wonderful. So I think you can go a long way with that. I think you could have a digital part of your business where you can do, matching stylists with people who are buying online. I would be pretty tepid around, I think during COVID, you just don't want to make sure that nothing seems like you're taking advantage or you're like going too fast in the situation. So I think I would wait, see how mall openings do, see how our numbers do. Like, look, there's a million views on what's going to happen with COVID. I think this is going to be with us like in some form until we have a vaccine, which is probably the next 2 years. Like life is not going totally back to normal. Like, is it the same experience if there's only few people in a mall and 2 people in a store? Like, is that even doable? Is that doable from a business model perspective? Again, like when you zoom out, like everything that malls did for and offices did for the last 30 years was figuring out how to get more people in less space. So we have been optimizing the other way for almost 30 years. And I don't know if a lot of the business models work, right? I don't know if a lot of the stores are going to say we can even survive on having a tenth of the people shopping that used to shop, right? Like you would remember those H&M lines and people are like lined up forever, right? They're buying socks. Anyway, but I think that it's especially if you have a digital component, I don't think it's ever too late to go do on the press. I do this female empowerment call every Sunday with Jess Mulrooney and Joanna from Knitswear and Melissa Leong. And we talk all the time about how even us who most of us have like decent, followings, we pitch ourselves to media all the time. And so I wouldn't be afraid. You pitch yourself, you can use the help of a PR firm, but ultimately it's you and your relationships where 90% of your media will actually come from.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Shilpa, I think we were going to do one more question, Dan. Shilpa, do you want to ask your question?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle. One of the things that I think about a lot in starting an e-commerce brand, often for products that are, let's say, less innovative. So if we stick to your candle example, things are getting easier. E-commerce, like you said, has never been quicker or cheaper. Customer acquisition costs are low. How do you think about barriers? Like what gets you comfortable with a particular brand or company when you're looking at a product that's kind of commoditized? How do you even create a barrier in that case?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So if it was me and if it was my money and if I was the founder, I would be extremely uncomfortable doing a candle company with no differentiation, because this candle is the same. Like it's just like it smells slightly better or slightly worse. I am not a brand builder at heart. Like I'm not a Joe Mimran. I can't go build some aura around these candles that like they existed in the middle of Morocco and I brought them here and there's a story. Like I don't know how to do that. So there are some people that can be incredible storytellers, but then brands at the end of the day are very fragile because there's very few like Joe Malones, right? There's very few, undifferentiated products that can just use brand alone to really elevate themselves to that level. And so it's just not a game I know how to play, but I do know how to create differentiation. And so, you could do everything from, take a bath bomb and put a surprise ring in it. Like that was an innovation in the category and just, killed it. You could, what are some other ones that I've seen recently? Like you can truly think about, SheerTex is an amazing example. Like Catherine was just like, I am completely unwilling to believe that there is not a better way to make pantyhose. And she has this incredible story of how she literally bought spools of the highest tensile fibers for ballistics from Alibaba. She was paying like $3,000 for a spool of fabric and then seeing if someone could knit it together. Like, think about something you love, and then think about how to create differentiation with it. Because I do think that if you have no differentiation, you're always at the whim of something else. And the other problems with brands is that they can really go out of style, right? Like there's very few brands that continue to be like as hot as they are today. Like look at the denim brands, right? Remember, I don't know, when I was in university, it was like Parasuka was like the hottest thing, and then it was like Miss 60. Like these are jeans that we don't even buy anymore. I don't even know where to find them, but you get these like very big waves, and those are probably closer to like the fashion companies. But there's so many different pieces of technology when you're creative, and now's a great time. Like the number one thing we have on our hands is time. We have uninterrupted. We're not interrupted by travel. We can just like, go deep down a rabbit hole and try and build a better product. And so looking for that differentiation. And then I'm not a huge believer that, patents protect you. I think being first to market and then building a brand around the unique thing you built is generally, the best way to protect things. But it's a great question.
Thank you.
What are you looking at building?
I actually did a hard pivot away. I was looking at e-commerce in skincare line, and I actually have a health tech background, so I'm actually getting more interested in a different idea, but still in the back of my mind, really thinking about how do these things work? So when you talked about the candle, it triggered me to ask.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering.
Thanks, Jill. That was great. We're loving this Q&A, guys, and we have a lot of people with amazing questions. So if you guys can keep it nice and concise and take yourself off mute, Victoria's got a list of everyone going, so we're going to try and get to as many people as possible. So I will give it here.
Yeah, up next was Vivian. So go ahead, Vivian, wherever you are. There's too many people. Are you there, Vivian?
We'll give her a second, and if she does not join us, you can go to the next person. All right, Vic.
Okay, next was Emily.
So this is your question about brick and mortar, right?
Yes.
Yes, great.
So,
okay.
Hi. So my question was, I had started an activewear brand that's all made from recycled materials, and I launched it online, and I just found that my experience was that the feedback that I received was people really want to touch and feel and see product and try it on prior to purchasing it online. That was kind of a roadblock I was experiencing. So I was toying with an idea of doing a pop-up this fall to try that brick and mortar concept, but obviously COVID, so I'm wondering in this, unprecedented time, how relevant you think brick and mortars will be going forward, or if it's best to maybe consider getting a little bit more creative from a digital perspective to alleviate those things.
Yeah, and what's your company called?
It's called Free Flow. I sent you.
Okay, so I've seen your product, and you guys, I loved your the printed sports bra. It was really nice. So so here's what I think. Look, a pop-up is pretty. You can keep those like pretty low risk. You can rent a space for a day or a week and see how they work. And so I would not take any risks right now. There is going to be so much retail space available for so cheap. I would just let the prices fall on stuff like that. And then I think I would still really think about like, how do I get really good at selling online? Like Carbon 38 changed everything for yoga. People were spending $300 on a pair of leggings, not seeing or touching or feeling them. And so it is totally possible to build that with great imagery and good descriptions and, a great product that develops like a cult following. So I don't know. I think that certainly it's an inexpensive thing to try. I think we're not going to see brick and mortar recover the same way. It'll take a while. And I would wait. People are going to be like dying to rent you space in a couple of months.
Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Next was Peter. Peter.
What about service industry instead of products, particularly sophisticated engineering? Maybe you can explain a little bit more on that.
Peter, where are you here?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
So I'm thinking of offering engineering services of any kind on demand. And it's equivalent to bringing a temp into the office and doing work, except it would be online.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how different is the service from the product, and particularly service that is a little bit more sophisticated, one of a kind,
And what kind of
and
engineering?
changing? Could be any engineering, mechanical, civil, product development, nuclear, you name it.
Huh.
Potentially, it would be expanding.
So it's like Uber, but for engineering services. Like you can call people.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I think you would want to start with like a very specific use case. One of the challenges with all of the Uber for something that weren't actually Uber is that you had a lot of interception in those models. So to explain that, what that means is, you know, I would call, you know, the Uber for house cleaning. Like I want, you know, someone to clean my house right now. The house cleaner would arrive to clean my house, and I would like really create a connection with her, and I'd say, hey, can I have your phone number? I'll just call you back next time. In fact, I did this in San Francisco, and I found this one woman that was so amazing, and then I gave her to my 5 friends when I left San Francisco. And so she never had to use an online platform again because she was totally full. So what happens is you pay a lot to acquire a customer on both ends, because you have 2 customer acquisition costs in marketplace models. You have the cost to acquire, in this case, the housekeeper, and the cost to acquire the user that needs the housekeeper. You then had to match them, which is a more expensive acquisition cost because these need to be geographically close to one another. And so my fear with like your model is that if you bring in a good engineer and they like them, the company will be like, well, let me just engage with you off the platform. And there's been no one, frankly, that's figured out how to do this really well. Uber doesn't have this problem because location-based is so powerful. You don't say to a driver, will you come pick me up? Because the value of having the closest driver that's 2 minutes away, that's random every time, is powerful enough. You don't need this mechanism. But I have seen so many models. I mean, I saw so many models from 2015 to 2020 that were all about the Uber of this. And almost every single one of them had that problem, is that the acquisition costs get enormous, and then your best service providers leave the platform because they get poached by your own customers. And there's just no mechanical way to solve this. And so, I mean, I think you could start by doing that. You could see if you could get a couple of big clients and turn it into more of a consulting basis. But generally, I just have seen a lot of challenges when you have interception as a part of a marketplace model.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, let's keep it going. Omar, you had a great question.
How do you see the future of networking events? Do you see them going virtual or back to normal? It's a really good question, and I don't have a perfect idea. I think that let's go in the spectrum. Like, think about getting an equity investor or a VC. This is going to be very difficult to do virtually because you are building a partner. You're effectively like marrying someone, right? You are, you know, in business with them for a very long time. And so to do that virtually is probably very difficult. So it's my prediction that we're not going to see a lot of VC deals get done unless you have pre-existing relationships with people, because forming that relationship virtually is very hard. I think you'll be able to do lots of first meetings. I went to my first like networking event with yesterday on, and it was like, we went into the breakout rooms, we kind of introduced each other, and like, it was kind of okay. But it's still a very strange experience. And so will people adjust? I think so. Are people going to try and go back to real networking once this is all over? For sure. I don't think that we'll stay like this virtually forever.
Definitely. I just had like, I just wanted to kind of clarify. So basically what I do, I'm a founder of bcard.co. So basically I help influencers kind of connect with each other. So I offer a virtual business card, especially for networking events such as this, where we cannot meet in person.
Yeah.
Rather than just kind of throwing in your Instagram link, or you can just have one link that has like literally like a business card. And I kind of wanted to see and experiment with it, and to see if that is something that I should kind of keep going, and because there's a future in it, or this is going to die out eventually, and that's probably not going to work out as I expect it to.
So how would they share their virtual card in this chat right now?
So like picture like Linktree. it would be. So it's just a matter of putting in the link, and it would actually show you like a virtual business card.
And you would, but like I'm in this event now in Zoom, like how would you share your card with someone?
I would actually just put it into the chat. It's
And
just
it
a
would be
link. Yeah.
Problem is links don't work very well in chat. A lot of times they don't show up correctly. Yeah, I mean, you could look at it. I don't know. I think people will just like do it in a more organic way, but I could be totally wrong around that. There's probably something there. I don't know the mechanism, and I don't have the time to like go through all the little like details on this one.
Sure.
So let's go to the next question.
Yeah, thanks, Omar. And would love everyone if they can ask their question directly to Michelle so we can get that interaction going. So I'll let you lead there, Vic.
Yeah, I think it was Landon next.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Michelle, I keep pinging you on Instagram because I want you to check out what we're working on. I also went to, fun fact, engineering school with your sister. What we're working on is kind of, I've been a part of a movement. I'm not sure if you heard of open source medical supply or helpful engineering. There are these online groups of people that have got really active in the maker space.
Yeah.
We're working on networking with those networks. There's lots of pins online. There's lots of pins all over the world. Our team is called Crown International. Literally, my developers are in Africa, US, Europe. It's like crazy. And I'm interested on your perspective on how you can monetize these communities. One, this is a long-term play inside of, we're proposing ourselves as a GIS-based Amazon where you can sort of put pins on a map. We're pitching the city of Mississauga, and I'd like to get in with other places where they can get their companies online. We started in medical supplies, but I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on, how do you monetize a community? Where do you think the value in kind of like local makers, local entrepreneurs are from like a network, like we are being the network space of making that happen with a map and kind of useful features that way?
So I just didn't quite understand. What can you see on your platform? You can see pins of where local makers.
Yeah, exactly. So right now it's only for medical supplies, supply in demand, and kind of longer term, we're looking at putting on filters so you can see, well, who's locally in your space.
So I have masks at my nail salon that I'm willing to sell to someone else. Is that what you're showing?
Yeah, it would more be like all the kind of startup like Sewer Nation. Like there's been a whole movement, like there's 5,000 people in a Facebook group called Sewers Nation Canada. They're looking to sort of sell. And then, like come like the second wave, let's say, you suddenly can't get masks. Your local makers are going to be super valuable, as well as like the future spinoff of all the entrepreneurs coming out of that, right?
Yeah. I'm honestly not the best. I have never built like an enormous, like 30 million person community, right? I have built like a large e-commerce audience, and I have figured out how to engage with much, but I've never had like one of these community platforms. And so I'm actually just not the best expert in the space on how to do that. I think Nextdoor is probably a really good example of where they could bring people together in local communities.
¿Me puedes alcanzar una camisa?
Drive value to drive value to a small group. And I think it's probably like, you probably have the right idea now that people are interested in medical supplies in a different way. And so that might get you a lot of early traction. I mean, there's no doubt that most early platforms get popular on one use case and then kind of grow from there. Yeah, I don't know how to think about it. I mean, Buns is a good example to see if they were able to like figure out how to monetize. I think that's always the question is like, how do I make money, or how do I take a transaction fee off this? Because it's very expensive to build a community, and then just it's figuring out how to maintain the business.
Yeah, see, we want to kind of like e-commerce it,
Sorry, Landon.
Sure.
I hate to be this girl, but I just want to make sure everybody gets attention.
For sure. Go ahead.
I wanted to throw it to Laurelyn to ask your question, if you're there. Laurelyn?
Oh, you're on mute. Here we go.
Oh, hi. Do you see me?
You're good.
Okay. Hi, Michelle. Nice to meet you. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. So, Michelle, I have a plant-based, gluten-free, allergen-friendly desserts company. It's called Laurelyn's Gourmet Desserts.
Yep.
And so, we're getting ready to launch online with Sobeys, and we're currently launching our own e-commerce website as well.
Yep.
So at this stage, you know, with all this time that we have, well, I mean, I'm busy 24 hours a day. I'm working on new innovative products. And I guess, you know, would that be a good time today to start reinventing, not reinventing, but inventing new, you know, products to get out there into the marketplace? I think the answer is going to be yes, but I'm going to just, you know, throw that question your way just to see, you know, because we don't really know what the retail space is going to be like. So really the focus, I'm really stoked and really excited to launch my website, which will be an e-commerce based website.
You make desserts, and people are eating a lot of desserts right now.
Yeah.
And they're baking a lot right
This is the
now.
brand.
And so I think that you're probably in a great position to be, you know, looking for new distribution right now for selling online. People are very creative around, you know, what they're getting. And so I also think this is now we have this like unique period of time to actually like invest in kind of some of the bigger projects we've always wanted to do, right? So whether that was like write a book or create a bunch of content or create new recipes, like there's very few times where we have like this amount of uninterrupted space. And so using that as like thinking about what's going to be kind of my like COVID investment in myself or in my business, and how can I really translate that? So I think it's a great time to do product development and discovery. And who's ever in your house with you is going to also love you because they're going to have all of the recipes to try.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura Lynn. We're going to keep going with the questions, guys. We have a little over 10 minutes left. If you guys can be super concise so we can get to everyone, because Michelle's time is valuable. So Victoria, who is next on your list, girl?
Zuli, you're next.
Excellent. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
I'm so excited to connect with you. Things are growing. I can't wait. I mean, I am so excited with this. I was named. BMO is putting me as one of the top 100 entrepreneurs in Canada, and I just need the support of all women because we really need to continue having the sustainable shower caps. Stop using disposable shower caps around the globe. I just went to The View and talked live to a 3 million audience and saw more than 6,000 shower caps over there. Awesome. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I'm developing my dry shampoo. So the thing is growing. And right now, I saw that you were going to talk and I was like crazy about it. Thank you for letting me get in. And I want support from women. So I gave you a shower cap. I gave Jessica Maloney a shower cap. I spoke to her. I'm looking for, this is a Canadian product. We need to really show how Canadians do things. Like I'm from Colombia, but I'm Canadian, right? So, okay, I'm getting emotional now. But, so, I don't know, maybe a TikTok. We can, I can ask you to help me with your friends. We can do a TikTok all together, dance with the shower cap. We can make something unique and something really cool out of it. And really change the way women use shower caps and stop using.
One of the most posted gifts of me online is the picture of me in your shower cap being like.
I know that.
The first week it went live, I got like 90,000 uses or like something crazy. So
I mean, shower caps, and I think the energy. I'm spiritual, and I know the energy that I'm doing this is truth. Like I'm really changing the way women use shower cap, and I created a really great product. You use it and it's true. So I don't have any doubt that my product is going to be extremely successful, but I also need help, right? Like, so we need to get a trend or something.
What's your question?
No, my question is how to, get an influencer, like how to get more influencers, people like you, like Jessica, like people to use it and to talk about it.
Oh, I mean, I would send them a pitch over Instagram and then send them products. That would be, there's a couple other agencies you can use. If you want to get really big celebrities in the US, there's one called the A-List. I think they're quite expensive, but I would just reach out, sharing your story, sharing a video of you talking about it in their Instagram feed. Right now, that's what I would try it that way. And I actually think you'll get a lot of pickup.
Zuli, thanks so much. We're going to continue, guys. Please make sure that you're asking questions relevant to the topic today on e-commerce and just direct the question concisely as possible. So Vic, who is up next?
Nicole Hyatt. I know there's a couple Nicoles. So Nicole, go ahead.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good.
Good. So 2 questions. What's the easiest affiliate program to work with?
Yeah.
Friendly. And then the second one is for Clearbanc. I know you have to have, I think it's $15,000 a month for 6 months revenue to work with it. So does that based on your existing company, or if I'm offering a new service, would that go based on my revenue from Town on the Run, for example, if I'm adding that product to that company?
Oh, that's a great question. So I actually don't have a great answer on your affiliate programs. The last time I set one up was 8 years ago, so my knowledge is old. If you ping me on Instagram, I can ask some of my team on who people are using right now and who's been really helpful on the affiliate side. Affiliates are a good way for you to grow your business. It allows you to basically say, you know, if someone else sells this product on my behalf, I will pay you a portion of that sale. And there's large affiliate networks you can get hooked up with. And then the question on Clearbanc is, you're right. Our typical standards are we need $10,000 in monthly online revenue, and we need 6 months of history. We are changing a few of those rules just because we're seeing that people are starting businesses right now and they're doing really well. Your business would be a unique case where we could look at what was happening in your core business and seeing if we could provide funding based on that. So just reach out to me. But generally, yeah, the rule is $10K of monthly revenue. Again, just because most of you don't know, we provide non-dilutive capital, which means we don't take equity. We don't take warrants or MAC clauses. There's no personal guarantee. We say, look, if we give you $100,000, you'll pay us a percentage of your revenue. Call that 5% of your revenue until you pay us back $106,000. So it's a 6% fee if you use our capital for advertising, and it's a little bit more expensive, up to 9% if you use it for anything else. So it's really affordable capital. It's not secured against your business or your inventory, and we just want to empower as many founders as possible through that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nikki.
Keeping it tight. Richard, go ahead.
Hi, how you doing? We have an app that we use for, it's a self-serve cafeteria. So we go into factories, we set up like the cafeteria, and everybody was using kiosks. We were using that for the past 6 years, but now we've changed it to an app, and it's worked great for us now because nobody wants to touch the kiosks. But what I want to do is now I'm in their hands, I'm in the people's hands. So I want to take it and sell anything to them. Because now that they're using it every day, they use it to buy a pop, bag of chips, whatever, but they're used to using it. And we get payroll deduction as well. We got credit card, debit, payroll, all on our app.
That's cool.
We could add other products. We could also do marketing. People come in, do marketing, and get results. They could give away stuff. We can tell them the population, how many men, how many women. But my question is, do you think people would want to sell their products on our app and pay us a commission?
What kind of products?
Anything. Because see, we're in their hand. We can sell them anything. Say it's hey, we can talk
using this app at their work cafeteria to buy food.
Yeah. So what they do is now they have on their phone, we're in their hand. We can say to them, hey, it's Valentine's Day. Did you buy flowers for your sweetheart? And they just have to click a button and they bought flowers. So we don't have to do anything. We have to just send the product out. Like we just connect with a flower company. They send the product, we get a commission.
Yeah, I mean, I would try a bunch of different things. I have no idea. Like, you are in their hands and you do have an app download, but it is hard to get people's attention outside of what they're doing in that. So they're now used to being in your app to buy their lunch. And so, I mean, try it. Try saying like, look, did you forget flowers? Like, click here to buy flowers for, and enter the address and stuff like that. I think this is going to be an area of trial and error. I think things that are closer to what you would be doing in your office or what you would need in your office might be slightly better, but I have no idea what's going to work. I think it's just about trying different things.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Richard. We're going to do one more question.
Sherry, go ahead. CJ, Sherry, make sure you're off mute.
Mute my audio. Hi. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. So hi, Michelle. Lovely to meet you. I play in the fertility space normally, and I sell a service that's pricey. So I've pivoted, and I'm now focused on creating virtual events and experiences for local female-led entrepreneurs. If I were pitching you to participate, how would I grab your attention?
And what kind of, you're doing virtual events?
So it's virtual events that then tie in each of their individual e-commerce sites. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, most people get a lot of inbounds. So going through a warm connection, I think is really helpful. That's probably the first thing, is that, you know, like sometimes you just have to like do someone a favor that's helped you out. That's one of the ways to get people's attention. I think doing something to give back to something they care about. So if that's, you know, donating to their charity or helping them out in that type of way that's non-monetary. I think seeing if there is a business and a worthwhile connection for them. And so, you know, someone that is providing things to the e-commerce space, if that is, if that's useful, you know, then you can find someone that might see some net benefit. And then, you know, the other thing is you can offer to pay people, right? People are taking a fraction of their normal fee because it's a virtual event and there's no travel required. But that would be the other thing that I would look at is and look, it's hard, right? Like I'm getting a ton of inbounds right now. I'm running a company with 200 people. Like I'm working 12 hours a day. Like it's very, very difficult for me to do a lot of, you know, effectively like charity events. And so you just kind of, those would be my best techniques for getting a hold of folks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Michelle, if you're cool to go over just by 1 minute, so Raj can quickly ask his question as the last one, and then we will wrap up.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Hey, Michelle. So my question is, I started a financial literacy education company.
Cool.
Originally, it was focused on the youth and students and stuff like that, and then sort of made the shift based on demand to adults who have been looking for this sort of service as well. I'm just wondering, in this time of pivoting from sort of in-person sessions to online, is it also a good time for a business to pivot their target market as well? Or is like, should I be focusing on the original? It's just that students are not as accessible usually with some of the channels as adults are. So how should I go about that?
So today you're focused on students, or you want to be?
So it was focused on students pre-COVID. And so I was going into schools and speaking to students like that. But now there's a lot of like adults, 18 plus, people who want to actually have like a one-on-one session, or I've done a couple.
I mean, I think you go to where the demand is, right? If you're still in the early days, like, yeah, students might have been a great place to start. But you know, if you're seeing demand, I would never say no to that, right? Especially, it's pretty easy. Like, I don't think it makes a huge difference if you're running a virtual event for students or if you're running it for older adults, and maybe you can segment them and do both because the financial needs are slightly different. But I think you're going to see a lot of surprises, and it's the other thing to look at is like, it's also an incredible opportunity for you. Like, you were going to be limited with how many schools you could set up with and how many people could physically be at a school. Now there's like no limit. Like, there's 100,000 people in a Peloton class now. Like, never before did we think there was going to be 100,000. I mean, a spin studio is 35 bikes, maybe 30. And so it's really like changing the mindset around. You have an incredible opportunity to build a massive audience without any of the limitations that used to happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Raj. And, you know, thank you everyone for joining today. The questions that you guys gave were so awesome. And Michelle, it's just been such a pleasure to have you. I feel like me and Victoria and everyone on this call could like stay here until midnight with you. But I know that everyone is super busy. So yeah, we just want to say thank you so much to Michelle for being here and taking your Friday afternoon to join us today. For those of you who are really looking for connection right now and support and an entrepreneurial community, we have started an amazing initiative called Mogul Cruise, which our June cohort's actually almost sold out, which is very exciting. And you know, they're intimate groups, peer-to-peer digital meetups with an expert facilitator and mentor guiding a 5-week program, and the feedback has been incredible. So it's been a really great way for entrepreneurs to really support each other at this time in a really kind of organic, unique way that's really structured. So check it out. We think it's really inspiring, and we're pretty excited about it ourselves. So thank you so much, Michelle. If you need to run, Michelle, please
do. I have to join my next call, but thank you guys so much. It was so lovely to meet you. Good luck. It's a really cool time to be building right now. And I know the first few weeks were miserable, but like, it's a new world from here. So all the best.
Thanks for all your inspiration, Michelle. For anyone that wants to stick around, we are going to do some speed networking. We think it's pretty awesome. It's a great way for us to connect with each other. We're going to do 3 short rounds. While Victoria's talking about some of our upcoming webinars, I'm going to put everyone into some breakout rooms.
Yeah, so we have some great webinars locked in for June. We have a webinar June 9th with Mark Eng, I think is his last name, right, Dan? Yeah, he's the founder of Second Closet, so it kind of ties nicely in with the e-commerce space because Second Closet does do a lot of shipping and storage for supplies and products. And then later in the month on June 23rd, I think, we have Jane Stoller from Organized Jane. So she's all about efficiency and organizing your business to run like a well-oiled machine. So really excited to be bringing you guys both of those opportunities. We keep the cost of these webinars low, but we jam-pack them with as much as information as we possibly can because we really want you guys to walk away with like a to-do list of stuff. We see the value in giving you that tangibility and not just general information. So as always, if you have feedback, if you have ideas on how we can do things better, we'd love to hear from you. My email is victoria@citymoguls.com. Danny's is DANI@citymoguls.com. And I think we're ready for some networking. Dan?
Yeah. Would love for you guys to stick around. Our first session will be about, you'll probably have 2 to 3 people in your room. So yeah, just quickly telling each other about yourselves. You'll see a little countdown. You might see 2 countdowns because I think it counts down and then it gives you a 60-second timer. So we'll do it 3 to 4 minutes and just have fun. And here we go. Give it a shot. Hey guys. Hello. You guys are on mute. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. Tell me about yourself.
I am a sports and pelvic physiotherapist, mom of 2, and I started a company this past year. We make a premium pelvic floor wand to help women who are pregnant for basically preparing their pelvic floor before and after birth, looking to change the way women look at their pelvic wellness.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. I know someone who does that. She's actually in my mogul crew. Her name is Allie Kane.
Okay.
You guys should connect. Okay. I'm going to just make a note because everyone in this industry is super cool and I'm like learning so much from her. Are you based in Toronto?
Yeah, based in Toronto.
Awesome. I see that we have Mert in this room. Mert, are you like there or no?
Yeah, I'm a real person. No picture, but a voice is here.
Nice to meet you. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. That was a great event. Thank you so much. I was actually just looking through your website right now, the City Moguls.
Oh, great.
Great. Well, I'm in the immigration and recruitment space. So I work with tech talents and find them contract works, mostly in Toronto and rarely in Montreal. And I usually help with people that are already in here or occasionally somebody overseas. So would do their paperwork and like place them in the contract or full-time jobs. But I'm really interested in actually expanding into a platform. So actually, I might like send you a note if it's acceptable for you, and then I would be happy to have like some casual mentorship events with you because I would like to build a speaking platform for people, especially newcomers and in the tech industry, to share their stories. And then the message I'm trying to give here, it's very difficult and a little bit intimidating to come and start a new life in a new country.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, I just want to show them, look, this person did it. He came 2 years ago and you are following exactly the same footsteps, so you can do it as well. So I want to build a platform around this idea.
Very cool. And Bruce, you just joined us. Did you get kicked out of your room for whatever reason?
No, there was only one person in my room and I know myself way too well.
Okay, well, we got everyone back joining.
Hello.
It goes by pretty fast, so we can do a little bit of a longer round this time if you guys feel that is necessary. Was that okay for everyone? Like thumbs up if it was good, and like thumbs down if you were like, I was not put in a room or I got switched. Okay. I had to move a couple of people around. I saw some people coming into my homepage, so I swapped you out, or if I saw you were alone, I tried to move you. So I'm gonna try and do that again.
That was killer.
Pardon?
That was killer. It was just too short.
Yeah, probably one more minute, maybe two.
Yeah.
More
Okay,
minutes.
let's do 2 more rounds. We'll do another extra minute and a half. I know some people have 3 people in their room, so it takes a bit more time to connect. So we're going to recreate these rooms. If for whatever reason you are in the room with the same person you just were in, just leave it. You'll come find me in the main room and I'll swap you guys out, okay?
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we're good. Here we go. Bye. Hey, did you guys get stuck in the same room again?
I was with Victoria.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm gonna move you out. Give me 1 second.
Thanks.
Where's your name, Oksana?
I'm missing.
Move to 7. And Bruce, were you with the same person? Oh, sorry, you're on mute. Say that again.
Very, very sad.
You were in the same room?
Alone.
Alone. Okay, here we go. I'm giving you a room. Stand by. Oksana and Bruce, you should be put into new rooms. I don't know if you got a notification.
I haven't gotten one yet.
Not yet.
It just says not joined. Are you sure you don't see a notification on your screen?
No. Normally it's like the first thing you see on your screen. I don't see anything.
Oh, man. Sorry, guys. All right, well, why don't we just chat? Because we're all here. Hey, Catherine. And who's WebMax? This mysterious person. Okay.
I don't know. WebMax.
Hello. Catherine, tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Catherine. This is my son.
Hello.
I am on mat leave, and I am starting a maternity wear business. I'm trying to anyway. I found that I had never really been underserved by the fashion industry in my corporate jobs until I became pregnant. So I have been trying to do that while I'm home, and it's been very interesting because of obviously everything that's going on. It's a very high touch business with people, and but I'm learning a lot because fashion is not necessarily my background. And I actually am in the Mogul crew that's happening right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Stephen Tallman is our facilitator, and it's been really great so far.
Nice, that's awesome. And Oksana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, my name is Oksana. I do a few different things. I never really know where to start. So I do community management for City Moguls. That's where I'll start. So if you see anything on Instagram, it's probably me. I also run a women's custom suiting business. Normally, although suiting has not been top of mind for most people these days. So we've been working like fashionable face masks has been the latest pivot for us, which has actually been a lot of fun. Also working with businesses, doing commercial custom branded projects for face masks for them as well. So just still trying to utilize the sewing community that we have in Toronto, which has been fun.
Nice.
And yeah.
I just ordered my mask from you.
I know, it's in the mail.
I'm very excited to get it.
I'm excited for you.
And Bruce, I know about you because you were on our last one, but if you want to introduce yourself, I'm going to go grab some water.
Well, Oksana, first of all, there's a clip on CBC News last night on the National about how Milan is coming back from the COVID lockdown. and one of the fashion houses is designing designer face masks based on the highest quality fabrics and beautiful, beautiful designs. So you're right on there. And a friend just made me one. It's beautiful. It's this blue, royal blue color and hand sewn. It's just beautiful.